3D Chick Easter Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish. Hi everyone! In this video I will be showing you how I sculpted this really simple Easter chick who is fuzzy. I hope you like this tutorial and don't forget to click subscribe so you can see all my future videos as well. So I'm going to begin by forming my smile line, and all of the colors of acrylic I'm using to make the nail tip itself to do all of this background stuff is all kind of a sheer color. So I'm using a sheer rosy pink acrylic, and I'm going to create a smile line that comes to a point that sort of parallels the shape of my nail tip. And so I'm just going to fade that towards the tip, and if your smile line isn't how you want it, you can always let that set and then file it to smooth it out and make it exactly how you want it. So now to fill in the tip of the nail, I'm going to be using three colors. I am using glittery green, glittery pink, and glittery peach. And so I'm first using the green, and then I'm going to use the pink. And I'm just creating little rows of them, just how on an Easter egg you've got those rows of colors that you use when you dip them. So the first is green. And as I mentioned before, these are all semi-sheer colors. So it creates kind of a cool effect at the end because I'm going to paint on it and then you can see through it underneath. Yeah, so the next layer is pink. And in the video, the pink and the peach colors look very similar, and they are similar, but you can tell them apart in real life. They don't look like just the same color. So unfortunately, it's hard to see that here, but they are their own color. And then fill in the rest of the space with the peach. So now I'm going to be encasing the nail with a layer of clear acrylic, and this is going to protect the glitter, and it's also where you want to build your nail structure. And it also smooths out all of those different layers of acrylic because they're all going to be a little bit different in height. And this is just going to create a nice smooth nail tip, so it's a lot easier to file it. And then, as I just mentioned, we're going to be filing it, and I'm using a 180 grit file, and then I'm going to buff it with a 240 grit padded buffer, and that's just because the 180 grit file is going to leave some scratches behind, and you want to make sure you buff all those out. It makes it easier to paint and look smoother in the end. Even if you add a gel sealer or something, it still looks so much better if you get rid of those little micro scratches that tend to be left behind. So now with white paint, I'm going to start by outlining my smile line, and then I'm going to outline each of those further layers that I did, so between the green and the pink, and between the pink and the peach. So then these are the lines that I mentioned show through when you flip the nail over. They don't show through a whole bunch, but you can still tell that they're there. And so now I'm going to be adding just a really simple design between the layers, just like you would if you were drawing out an Easter egg or decorating an Easter egg. So on the pink layer, I'm just going to add a zigzag going through that section and some polka dots on the green. With black paint, I'm going to be painting my chick's legs. So it's just two lines going straight out with three smaller lines on the end for his feet. So now I'm going to be adding a gel sealer. This is going to protect all of that paint when we start putting acrylic on top of it. So we know that this part is done and it can't be ruined by doing something else to it later on. We know that part is set and it's done and we don't have to worry about it. So then with bright yellow acrylic and a small sculpting brush, I'm going to be sculpting my chicken. So I'm going to start with a nice round shape for his body. And right now I'm not going to worry about the thickness too much. I'm just really concentrating on the shape around. And then I can always go through and add some more acrylic on top if I don't think it's thick enough. So then adding a smaller circle on top and sort of blending the two together slightly. That's going to be how we make our chicken's head. And then as I mentioned, I'm just adding a little bit more acrylic to his body just to give it a more domed shape. And the same to his head. And if you want, you could flip your nail tip upside down while those two layers are setting, and that'll give them a nice smooth dome shape. Otherwise, if it's a fairly stiff acrylic, it'll just set itself that way. So then with very small beads, I'm just going to add two wings, one on each side of his body. Paint over your chick with either a top coat or a nail glue, and then I'm going to be adding some flocking powder that's white over the top of it. And I'm going to be generous with the flocking powder, and then you can tap it off and you really don't waste very much. And then you can brush it off with a nail brush and you got yourself a fuzzy chicken. So on a nail form backing, I'm going to sculpt a very small diamond shape with orange acrylic and then just divide it in half with my brush. I don't want to completely split it in two, but just create a little indent so that it folds easier. So then let that set for a good little bit so that it's matte on top, and then it'll hold its shape when we go to fold it. So then you're going to want to fold it. And if you can slide your brush underneath it, that means it's ready to be folded. And then you can pick it up and you can place it on your chick. And so just lay it on there and then give it a really good press on the side so that it really adheres to it, because the flocking powder is going to make it difficult for that to stay. And also, if you wanted, you could just put a dab of nail glue underneath it just to make sure that it holds on nice and tight, or even a little bit of clear acrylic. And then with black paint, I'm sorry I missed when it was showing this part, but you're going to want to add his eyes and then do a little bit of outlining. And the flocking powder is also going to make it difficult to outline him, so I didn't really want it to be a very harsh outline, just something nice and subtle. So now I'm going to paint a layer of gel sealer on the other side, on the underside of my nail, and I'm going to attach a row of pink rhinestones. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this design. Please share recreations with me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I would really love to see them, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!